Good morning. This is Aunt Beth from my lamppost, the light that I'm currently walking in. I wanted to share with you my thoughts this morning about flipping the script, about what we see and how we respond to it is a choice to protect our hearts and protect our minds. These are crazy times, and a lot of fear is going on. But the Bible has some things to say about it. There are people who are very, very diligent about protecting their heart and their mind through exercise. And every day, God bless them, they're out there walking and moving and doing what they can. And that is fantastic. You basically have two hearts. Your heart, meaning your real you, your spirit and your soul, your emotions, and that needs some protection also. So I want to talk about flipping the script as far as a life of thanksgiving. Somebody once said to me, "What would you do if you lost everything you'd never said thank you for?" And oh my gosh, I'm thankful for a dry, clean, safe, warm, quiet place to sleep, and food to eat, and a hot shower, and just everything I could think of, the fact that I can wake up and see and read and talk, and this technology, just so grateful. But it's interesting because there's two scriptures I wanted to read to you this morning as far as flipping the script, as far as Thanksgiving. But I want to tell you maybe two stories first. One from the Bible and one from my history. From the Bible, Daniel. He was basically, everybody thinks of Daniel as this fantastic person, and he was. And he was basically a prisoner of war, captured in his mid-teens, escorted 650, 700 miles away, and basically castrated, and before he could participate in the king's business. He literally had his future cut off. Everything that he, I'm sure, had hoped for, to have a family and, live in his home country is gone. But you really don't see any of that bitterness or sorrow with Daniel. He took a look at his situation, and instead of complaining about it, he chose to just focus in on what he did have. And he did have access to knowledge, but he also had time to just pursue after God. And he had such an incredible reputation with God that when God was commenting about the corruption of future Israel, he said, even if Daniel were standing in front of me, it wouldn't be enough to save them. He would save Daniel, but he wouldn't save the country. And that's a pretty amazing testimony that God thought that much about Daniel. I'm sure when Daniel started out, he didn't think that much about his circumstances. The other story I want to tell you is from my grandparents. I moved out to the East Coast a long time ago, in the late 70s, to find a job. And at that time, my mom asked me if I would check in on my grandparents once a month, which I did for the next 20 years. But towards the end of their life, they went into a nursing home from their retirement cottage, house to retirement cottage to nursing home. And same set of circumstances. And my grandmother was just so angry. I can't cook, I can't clean, these people are touching me. And she was just very upset. My grandfather, I don't have to cook, I don't have to clean. I get this wonderful bath. They lowered him in with this harness into like a hot tub kind of thing, and he thought that was the best thing in the whole world. Same set of circumstances, but the fragrance of their life. And one was of Thanksgiving. They both lived until they were 98, 99. But did they enjoy their life? There was somebody that I dated a long time ago who had a poem about the same set of circumstances, but it was the set of the sails on the ship that determined where they went. So I want to read these two scriptures to you and encourage me to set our sails and choose Thanksgiving and see what our life is as far as potential for what God can do with it, and be grateful for what we have. The first one is Proverbs 4, and it starts in 23. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. And the very next sentence is interesting because it starts talking about how you do that, about how you keep your heart, your real you, your emotions, your mental health, how you protect it. It says, put away from you a deceitful mouth and put perverse lips far from you. So the very first thing it starts talking about to protect your heart and your mind is watch what you say. Watch what you say. Thought this was interesting. This month I am in, for the next couple months, I'm in Romans. And I saw something the other day that I had never seen before as far as the progression of mental health and crumbling, deconstruction of your well-being. And it's in Romans 1, it starts in 20, and it basically talks about the creation was known to God. If you never heard about God from anybody talking to you, you would be able to look at creation and know that there was a God. And it says, for since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. And here's the first step to deconstruction of your mental health. Because although they knew God, they did not glorify him as God, nor were thankful. And boy, is that a challenge to me. So I am, using it as a point of spiritual, mental, physical health exercise to flip my script. And when there are a set of circumstances that, boy, I don't like, that is not the life I had hoped for, I am not necessarily thankful for them, but thankful in them, for I'm determined to see the best as far as what God can do in my life. And with the confidence and hope, because of the scripture, that it will protect my heart. So I'm working on flipping my script. And I want to be one of these people that is grateful. The fragrance of my life is Thanksgiving. I think that's a lot more fun person to be around than somebody who's always upset. So I'm working on flipping my script, and I would challenge you to consider doing the same. I hope you have a fabulous day. All God's best.